Help me decide what's going to happen with my chateau. So you guys, it is the morning and I'd say let's just start with going out for a walk and then maintaining the house a bit. If you don't know me, I'm Amadeus, I'm 37 years old and I live in rural France. I have bought a medieval chateau about 2 years ago, which is just a half actually, and I'm renovating it bit by bit. I have come to the point where budgeting is an issue. So I have several income streams. I think I've talked about it in one of the videos, how much it costs to run a chateau, which you'll find somewhere here. I think you're kind of crooked. Oh no, it's the chateau floor. It's one of the things on my to-do list. So there's a lot of things that need to be taken care of and I need to prioritize because my budget is small. I wanted to ask you guys what you think should go first. Maybe some of you have a bit more expertise than me. Some of you might know a bit more about life than me because you've just lived longer. Some of you have maybe some other input, ideas, fresh things to think about. And I'd really love to hear your guys' opinion in the comments, and I'll just give you a few suggestions of what I think would be good to tackle in the span of the next year, I would say, because we're coming to the end of this year. So we really want to plan out what's going to happen next year, how much budget I need for that, and how much budget is realistic for it. I'm not sure how much you can see in the video, but this whole floor is going downhill. It's actually going this way, and if we turn around, this way. And just to place you somehow in the chateau, we're above the Grand Salon, and we are on the very edge. That's an outer wall, and that's an outer wall, and my neighbors Bob and Joe are towards this side. So the floor is kind of dropping to the center of the chateau, which is this way and this way. It's not dangerously dropping. I think it's just dropped over the course of its lifespan from medieval times. It's probably built around 13 to 1400. It's been here for a while, so it's probably sunk at one point. It's stable now. It doesn't give an impression of sinking. There's no cracks in the wall, so everything's fine. I think it's mostly just also it wasn't built very straight from the beginning, from the get-go. You can see in the chateau, in the Grand Salon ceiling. Not everything's perfectly straight. I'm not straight, so I fit right in, right? So, yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those big tasks is to eventually I would like to level out the floor and insulate the floor, because when you're up here, you can basically hear anything that's being said down there and vice versa. I would like to take care of that situation, just because also if I have guests or if I have someone who wants to stay down a bit longer, watch something, maybe just like be in the kitchen and I want to sleep, I want to have the option to sleep peacefully without having to hear a conversation or music or anything. So it would be the perfect time to also insulate that floor. But this is a big, big project because the greatest dip is on the first floor landing. You start here and then from here it just really goes downhill really quickly. So at this point where I'm standing and the back, I would say it's a difference of about like 5 centimeters at least in height. So we'll have to level this out. And probably my highest point will be back here where you see the fire extinguisher, the first floor landing. I think that's kind of the highest point. And I mean, they've raised the floors in here from here on, but still these floors are not insulated at all. And there's a lot happening also underneath the bathroom floor. So it would be the perfect time, I think, also when I start doing this to remodel the bathroom, which will take up the costs quite a lot. So yeah, I think it's one thing that I just need to consider, but it needs to be done eventually. Also, just like to make it a bit more nicer place. It's nothing that needs to be done straight away. Nothing that you would have to be worried about. But I think in the long term, it's also good looking underneath what is happening, what's going on, how the floor was built, because I'm kind of, if I remember how I did the second floor, and I did take off all the floor there until the OSB floorboards that they laid out, and I had to exchange some floorboards because they were rotten. So I really would like to take care of this. Another thing, for this one we need to get dressed. That's why I'm wearing my Crocs right now. And let's go outside. So the next thing is all about this building, which is my barn. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of things, a lot of rubble. I mean, I have spent so much time already taking stuff out, and it's a constant clearing of this barn. But the roof is in quite a good shape, and I would like to turn around this barn so I can have a multifunctional space where I can use it for yoga classes, I can use it for dance rehearsals, I can have a bit more space, to actually open space that just is for moving around. Nothing fancy, and I think I just would like to make this space work in a very rudimental way as quickly as possible. But this is one of the projects that you see how many things there are lying around here. It will just take a while to clear it all out, and also all by myself. I will need to have Alexi's help, I will need to have other people's help to actually clear this out properly. But we're getting there bit by bit, but it is one of those never-ending projects. So that's project number 2 of possible next tackle projects. For the third project, we need to go up onto the second floor. So welcome to the second floor. I have renovated this floor already quite a bit, but there's one thing I did not do and I did not consider, and it's one of those things where I don't know if I said it on the channel, but I do say it in real life sometimes, that I really regret not taking this place apart when I got it, because everything was made, but everything was sort of well done, but not really. You know, a lot of things have been done not properly, or they were solutions that would serve maybe a home that you don't live in, like a vacation home, as this was one. So I think that's the only regret I have about not ripping out everything and redoing everything meticulously and redoing everything to serve my purpose and to also preserve the building better, because upstairs I really find the ceiling was done in a not so good way. I don't think they insulated much, which is a pity because I lose a lot of warmth during the winter time and it heats up quite a lot during the summertime. I mean, the heat you can regulate because I have Velox windows and it kind of like creates a chimney effect and the heat goes away. That's all fine. The worst part is the cold part. I have heaters here and they heat, but they basically heat a big open space that is not well insulated. So one of the projects that I will have to tackle is each room needs to be taken apart to the bare bones, and we need to probably redo the insulation or even just like do insulation at all. But let me show you what I mean. Don't mind the mess, I still had friends over, so I didn't really clean or I didn't really make up the rooms after them. But it's just, if you look, I mean, the beams are really beautiful and even those beams going down this way are really beautiful. But the problem is that all of this is basically just one plasterboard on top of, I guess, something very, very thin or nothing, maybe. That would be my point, because the temperatures really drop to almost outside temperature up here. It's really, really crazy. So it takes a lot of effort to heat up these places. So that's why I don't usually have people over during the winter, because it's just not possible. People would freeze. I mean, my aunt and uncle were here and just heating up against this cold. I mean, I was really sorry. They were sleeping, I think my aunt was sleeping in a hat because it was so cold up here and I don't have more rooms downstairs in the first floor. So my parents sleep in the guest room, I sleep in the bedroom, and that's about it. So I think that's one of the projects that eventually need to be tackled. I'm not 100% sure how fast it needs to happen, because in the end, it's something, the rooms are okay in summer and that's when I will have retreats and everything. And maybe one day, maybe also you guys have a suggestion what I could use it for in winter, for example, because I was already thinking, like, I have 3 rooms upstairs here and the upstairs is so beautiful and so nice. Maybe I could like put it more into use. But my only trouble is that I will still want to run retreats and have guests over and have people over for the festival, for the dance festival, that come and join the dance festival, so I can accommodate them here as well. So maybe you guys have good ideas on how to multi-purpose a room, how I could use the upstairs maybe differently, what I could do with it. I'm open to any of your suggestions. I'll show you the other rooms. So this is the green room. It's the single room. And each room up here has a bathroom, because those bathrooms I built in here and they all have like big walk-in showers and everything. But this I use as a double room, basically, for people who don't know each other so well but want to join in on the retreat, for example. That was my newest idea. And this room's a bit messy as well, I'm sorry. There's the small blue room, which is basically a single room with a smaller bed, but it also has its own bathroom. So I was thinking, if I'm gonna use one room up here, it probably might be this room, because this room is the smallest room and maybe I can make it work for something else. But then again, what do I do with the bed? Where does it store? I don't have that much storage. My problem is with the upstairs. I have lots of movable bits in here that aren't as movable, you know? I have a lot of furniture, but where does the furniture go if I want to use this space for something else? So I'm glad if you have any kind of ideas for anything. I'm game. The fourth project is the garden. I mean, the garden, there's so much to do. I want to reinvent it. We already have a sort of plan for it, So we kind of know where it's heading, but this will still take some time to rethink. I actually was thinking that it's one of those things that you can already start envisioning. So maybe in January, we'll start kind of thinking about it, think of the possibilities, where we can go, how we can do it. So that's kind of the thing that I'm like looking forward in my brain already, because for next season, I would like to have a bit of a different garden. I find that my paths right now are not very accessible. They are very crooked. It was a temporary solution when I made it, so I never thought it was going to stay this long. So now it's about time to tackle this probably in the beginning of the next year, as long as the season's still cold, and then the garden can thrive again in summer and we can already think about planting things and yada, yada, yada. But that's definitely also one more project that's kind of on the list and that I think will need to be done by the next year. So yeah, and then there's a lot of small DIYs that we can do, a lot of small things that impact a space quite strongly. Upcycling furniture, trying to see what we can make out of existing things that are already in the chateau, like wardrobes that I was thinking of redoing a bit. Things like this, I think that might be interesting for you guys, for the channel, to attract new viewers, to keep you guys happy who have been following along all this time. I really appreciate that. So maybe also you have ideas on where to go next, how to do things, what to do, because I have realized something. I have realized that I'm a kind of a misfit in the chateau niche. Because, or at least that's what I make myself feel. I know that I should benefit of it and I should make myself even more special, because there's a ton of people with chateaus out there who renovate, who have big budgets, who have a lot of money on their hands, or who are able to lend a lot of money, however it turns out for them. And it's really amazing. But that's not me. For me, I think I'm more kind of well, I'm an artist who's renovating a chateau, so I don't have much money on my side. I don't have a huge budget. I can't afford for people to come in and do works for me. I have to do it all myself, which means it takes time to do things myself. It takes time to film myself. It takes time to put out YouTube content, which I absolutely adore and love. And it's become such a great passion. And I really want this to be part of my job. But then there's also the whole creative side of my job, which is dancing and choreographing. There's the dance festival. I would like to cook a bit more, actually, and give maybe cooking classes or something like this. I'd like to give yoga classes once the barn is done. I've always been a person with a lot of different interests. So I think it's just like finding a way to melt them all together and to not feel like I'm pretending. Because right now I'm at a point where it feels to me that I feel, like I said, like a misfit in the chateau thing, because I get the impression, and that's not that you are doing this, but I get the impression that people come here from other chateau channels maybe and are disappointed because my renovations aren't as big. My chateau isn't as big. My chateau is just a half. My chateau is very medieval. Some people even say like, oh, but it's not a chateau. It is the chateau of Les Young. It's just not as grand. It's the Middle Ages. It's something, and Alexi always says that it's something even more special than anything else. And I love that he also makes me feel special, and he makes this place feel special, because this place is special. It's got a place so deep in my heart, and I just absolutely adore it. And I adore making things here, and I adore having the possibility to do something with my own two hands, which I think is a total different side of the coin to my job as a choreographer and dancer, because dance is something non-tangible. It disappears, you know. You can have videos of it, but it's not the same, you know. It's nothing that can be resold, you know, like music or things like, or even videos. It can't be. It's an art form that is live. It has to be performed in front of people. That's the only way it actually like touches people. That's the only way I find it can do something. It's this beauty of sharing a moment together with the audience and the people on stage. It's this fragility. And that's why I love this job. I mean, but at the same time, it leaves you with nothing. Very, very simply said, because it's there and it's gone. It's ethereal. It's almost like it's like fairy dust. And yeah, I think that's why I really, really enjoy doing this very real process of renovating something, of changing something, of doing DIYs, because I have an outcome very, very fast. So yeah, that's why I really, really enjoy this. That's why I want you guys to be part of this. I want you guys to be part of this community. That's what I'm building. I want to build something, a group of people who are in love with France, who want to experience life in France, who want to know about a queer person, a gay man living in France, who want to know and see beautiful things and get to also acknowledge that life sometimes isn't productive, and also that life is slow and things take time and renovations take time. I also would like a group of people who are very reflected, you know, who we can talk, we can like we do now already, and like we've done in other videos. I want to address issues. I want to be a sort of role model also. I want people to openly address also mental health. I want to speak about all these things, because I think it's really, really important to just drop this curtain of being fake on social media and being fake on YouTube, creating something that looks beautiful but isn't, you know. And I know it's part of the industry and sometimes you've got to do it, but mostly I'm here to be real. I'm here to share my life with you, to share, and for you to share your life with me in a different way, obviously. But I think that we can achieve great things together and we can grow as a community, and I can benefit you as much as you can benefit me, you know? And I think that is what I want to grow into. And that's why I hope that you guys like my content, and I hope that other people will like my content, and I hope that we can continue to grow, and I hope that we can continue doing things. That's why your opinion matters. So please let me know. I'll also make a poll after this video where you can give your opinion in the community tab as well. So I would really appreciate if you take this poll. And also there was another poll about asking you if you were interested in more yoga movement-based kind of videos. So I would also gladly appreciate if you would go back to that poll in the community tab on my YouTube channel and maybe leave a vote for it, and then I'll see. It was a lot of no votes, a bit of yes votes, so I think I'm going to do it in the next year. But until then, we'll just take everything step by step. So you guys, I am really looking forward to your input, what you think, what your experiences are, and what you think, what's next for the channel, what's next for the chateau itself. And I can't wait for that exchange to happen. But it's time to end this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and leaving the video a thumbs up. This helps immensely with growing the channel. And I shall see you all in the next video. All that's left to say is à bientôt et au revoir from the southwest of France. Bisous and bye!